Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to talk about something very serious tonight: bird blindness. It affects one in, I guess, one person that we know about. But bird blindness is a very, very bad thing. So tune in for all this and more. Oh no.
I wasn't sure where that was going, to be fair. I would just like to address that momentarily. Welcome to what is normally Marvel Talk, but it is now DC Talk for this evening. I am your host, the Empress of OLE, Ophelia Payne, Peggy. And with me tonight is one of my two co-hosts, Andre. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. Literally got home 15 minutes ago from work because my day went very long today. Work sort of happens when I'm a delivery driver. So yeah, everything is good.
Why do you say you're at work when you were really at the bird blindness?
Yeah, I was at bird blindness
awareness
thing
or whatever.
Yeah, that's where I was.
Yeah, sorry. The fact that you did not tell me what that cold open was going to be, I was like, "Where are we going?" And then I'm like, "Oh, stop smiling! What's happening?"
This was my favorite. That was my favorite joke of the entire season. Was bird blindness. Like,
so
my God, this show. We're here talking Peacemaker season 2.
Yes.
If you didn't get it by the graphic or the background or John Cena, Peacemaker right in the center. We're covering up all the rest, but we really shouldn't. But it's just how the graphic works.
It can make us teeny tiny, like in the corners, I guess. But yeah,
good. But it's just more work than I want to do. I guess.
You know what? That is absolutely fair. You see Peacemaker, you see Peacemaker, and we're good to go.
There you go. I fixed it. See, you can see them all now.
Well, the main 5. Yeah, but yeah.
So
overall, what did you think of Peacemaker season 2 compared to Peacemaker season 1?
Well, first half of the season, I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to be as good. But the back half of season 2, I felt I enjoyed that more. Like, I think I liked it a little more than I liked the entirety of season 1. But if I look at the seasons as a whole, I have to say season 1 was a better storied out season. Okay. If you get what I mean? Like from beginning to end, season 1, I think, flowed better. Season 2 had the better thing happening to me. You know what I mean? But it was in the back half. There was when it really ramped up in the back half of the season.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm pretty much the same way. And maybe it's because we didn't know what to expect at all with season 1. So season 1 was entirely new of everything for me. And season 2, I went in with pretty high expectations, to be honest, based on how much I loved season 1. And the first 3 episodes, at least, I was like, what are we doing? Is this going to pick up? Because I might not be on board with season 2. I might have to tell Andre that I am out for the review. And then season 4 and 5 hit, and I was like, okay, I'm back in.
Yeah, I think we're like, once you kind of get through partway through episode 4, I think that's where everything really just starts hitting and firing, and it kind of ends season 4, episode 4. You're like, oh. And then season 5, kaboom. Let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Bobby Munson, our ogre lord here in the chat. Hello, sir. We are doing well this evening. I made 100% of my deliveries, and actually one extra. That's why I got home late, because they added one on for me right at the end of my day.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah.
Zach.
And then we've got Brett Martinez in the chat. Hello, sir. The last emperor. How are you doing, sir? And then we have Zach Minger in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. And it is a happy early birthday to our one.
I know. Little over a week away. So it's a lot of things coming up this weekend, which I will talk about at the end of the stream. All the things that I am doing for my birthday this year.
There you go.
My 29th again, obviously.
And to Brett, yes, we had planned this, but we only announced it this morning with tweets over on the OLE.
Because we're slack and terrible.
Yeah. She's only turning 23.
Oh, was it? Okay. I forgot.
That's what I
I
heard.
was so young. It's hard to keep track. You wait till I actually announce how old I am on the stream next week and watch people's brains blow up.
When she told me how old she was, we were hanging out in person. I was like, "You're." I'm not going to say the number, but I was just like, "Oh my god, no, that is not true. No, yeah. I don't believe you."
When you have to pull out the ID to prove your age. It's always a good time.
I really didn't believe her. I really didn't. But so.
Peacemaker.
I thought overall it was a good season. Again, there was some good stuff in the early part of the season, but I found again it was very slow. And then kind of end of episode 4, last little bit of episode 4, I'm like, oh shit's about to happen in this back half. It was really weird because again, if you compare it to season 1. Everything was going in that first episode. It just from Jump Street, it kind of went. But again, you have to establish everything. So it's bam. This one you're trying to tell a story of what has happened since.
Yeah, because this one jumped around a lot as well. So there was a couple of episodes that jumped back and forth a few times, and I was like, wait a minute, what timeline are we in again? Like, where are we at?
Oh, the timeline. Well, screw the timeline. Okay, so like the timeline for me. So within this show, it's 6 months after season 1, mm-hmm. where this takes place, roughly, and then you have it's just after. It's like a month or two after Superman, mm-hmm. From what James Gunn has said. But then there's a flashback of 3 years prior, when Corto Maltese happens in the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. So. What you're telling me is Peacemaker was in that hospital for 2 years.
Yeah,
roughly.
But it seems like, yeah,
or 2+ years, because he would like Corto Maltese happened, which was 3 years before. Mm-hmm. Then he got out of the place. Let's give season 1 2 months worth of timeline. So that dude was in the hospital for roughly 2 years 4 months. Yes, he was crushed by a building, so they had to fix him. So yeah. So again, I could believe it, but again, so that's what the timeline we're looking at.
Yeah, and I think that was a little bit, I don't want to say convoluted for me, but it jumped around quite a bit. And even in some of the episodes, you were talking about multiple timelines at the same time. And I was like, hold on. And you really just have to pay attention to what's going on. And we all know that I don't love to pay attention to small details. So, yeah.
Yeah. So you're jumping around timelines, jumping back and forth in time, showing flashbacks throughout the series. Plus, you're jumping universes on mm-hmm. top of it all. So you're trying to certain characters, like a couple of the characters, you're trying to track like one of these characters. You're tracking who's the original version, who's the other version, right? It's very jumpy, but again, it all came together in the end. Don't get me wrong, but like I found how they ran the first 7 episodes, and then what episode 8 was, I was like, really? It was all for this? Okay, interesting. I liked the result, but I was like, so we did everything we did in the first 7, and then it's almost like another story.
And I always look at it like it was 6 and then 2, because they didn't give any of the reviewers the last 2 episodes. So I have to think that James Gunn specifically left the first 6 as to be one story, and then the last 2 to avoid any spoilers. So none of the reviewers got the last 2 episodes. And I mean, we know why once we get to episode 6, to the end of episode 6. So like
episode 7, the review, the cameo, which we'll talk about, that came in episode 7. It was a 6 or 7. I think it was 7. The cameo we got, the bald man himself showed up. Lex Luthor comes. Lex Luthor showing up in Peacemaker. I did not expect that. I really didn't.
Yeah. I think knowing that Peacemaker was in Superman after seeing Superman, it makes sense. But also was surprised to see him in the show, and the fact that it was a well-guarded secret and wasn't spoiled was very surprising. And I'm impressed that it didn't manage to get surprised somehow.
Yeah, so even off the hop of the season, things changed because they changed the ending of season 1. Mm-hmm. So if you watch season 1, it's still the same ending, but it shows in the recap of season 1, they put Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Superman, and Supergirl into the place of the Justice League with when we had Aquaman interacting with Peacemaker. It's Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl interacting with him this time. And it's I liked it. I thought it was great. It's perfect way. It's like, okay, so it's showing you it's within the universe. It just, this is what happened. It's changed.
I did have a moment where I questioned my sanity because I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember this from season 1. And then I remembered that it didn't actually happen like that in season 1. I had to go back and double check to confirm for myself.
Well, right before this season started, I went and marathon season 1 before the premiere started, and then I watched the end of season 1, and then I turned on season 2 and I'm watching it, and I skipped the recap because I literally just finished the season. And then I'm reading online the next day. I missed. Okay, so I went back, watched the recap, and went, "Oh my god, I missed this."
And I don't blame you. I probably would have skipped the recap as well in this situation. So
yeah. So since we're talking characters changes, let's talk characters of the show first. So let's go to that. So we'll kick it off with some of the returning cast members. Let's go with the titular man himself, Peacemaker, played by John Cena. This is a story of a man who kind of is like a broken man, now kind of more broken after everything that happened in season 1, and how he's coming to terms with his life at the start of this season.
Yeah, he was a very, very different Peacemaker at the beginning of this season. And when you think about it, it makes sense. But when you just on the surface, you're like, this isn't Peacemaker. Do you know what I mean? But if you actually start to dive into what he's gone through and put the timelines together, absolutely, I think everybody would be a little messed up in that situation.
Yeah, again, like he was dealing with his father's stuff, and then throughout the season, we get this backstory from him from it's like a month prior of him, and he's been hanging out with the entire crew. Like the 11th Street kids are have bonded as this unit, and then something fractured a month ago. And throughout the season, it tells you the story with and we'll talk about her too with Emilia Harcourt, played by Jennifer Holland. It's their relationship that kind of fractured how the kind of group dynamic a little bit, and also Economos disappearing with Argus there for a little while, but it's their relationship, and you could reveal throughout the season is that they went to a rock boat or a rock cruise.
Yes. So if you've ever done one of these rock cruises, these party boats, it's exactly what it was, and I was really excited because it was Nelson. Yes, Nelson. Yeah,
Nelson. Yeah,
who I hadn't heard of in a million years, so it was kind of cool.
I had never heard of them. So
you are a young man. I am. So between Nelson and the fact that they had Dee Snider in this soundtrack, I mean, it was exactly what I wanted from it. A lot of my nostalgic childhood.
Yeah, so like you get the reveal. Then they were on the boat together, and they had this moment where they kiss, and then it kind of all fractures apart because she's still dealing with the fact that this is the guy that killed her boyfriend, Rick Flag Jr. That you get revealed that they were in a relationship because he was with somebody else, but they're in a relationship, I guess. So she's dealing with all these feelings. So you can understand now. It even makes more sense why she hated Peacemaker so much at the beginning of season 1. Like it makes so much even more sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So again, I like the journey because like you see Peacemaker go on this journey, and you get a reveal that his magic door where he gets his helmet, or the folding chamber, is actually a doorway to other universes where we get to the alternate universe, and we get to see Peacemaker kill alternate universe Peacemaker.
Do we know how many doors are in this portal like area, like this zone? Because there's a lot of doors, and we discover there's a lot of doors as we go through this season. But do we know how many doors are in there?
I can't for sure, but I think there was a Peacemaker podcast, right? I think Gunn said something like 99 or something like that. There's 90.
Sounds like a number that he would use for sure.
Yeah, like again, I don't know if that's for sure. You don't have to don't quote me on that.
Doesn't really.
A lot
is the answer.
Little sidebar in the chat. We have Brett kind of giving shit to SCG in the chat here, saying he's been slacking on Sundays, which he hasn't been there. Oh, and he did finally run his marathon. So congratulations to SCG for finally running your marathon, sir. Congratulations. I know you've been training for that for a long time, so I gotta give you props for that.
Well done. Well done. I ran a marathon of something on Netflix. That's about it.
So we get Peacemaker opening up this alternate universe, and he ends up meeting his father. He meets his brother Keith. Is in this. So you get his father, who's not White Dragon here. He's Blue Dragon.
Yes.
And then you get his brother, who's alive, and he's Captain Triumph. I was like, okay. I only learned that name like after the season was over, and I went and was like reading stuff. I'm like, oh, his name's Captain Triumph. Okay, interesting.
Brett, you're not the emperor of anything. There can only be one, and I am the empress.
That is true. She is the empress.
Yes. So, yeah. We go through. He meets himself. He disposes of himself. He has his brother. He has his father, and he has his lady love on the other side too, who is the same yet entirely different.
Yeah, like the reveal that she never wears pants.
Yeah,
revealed in the later episodes.
Which made me laugh a lot, because as someone who is a girl who never wears skirts or rarely wears skirts, I laughed, and because I didn't even notice that she was entirely never wore pants, and I was like, this is the big reveal. This is how he knew something was wrong, is because she had pants on.
And she never wears black either.
Yes.
She never wears pants, and she never wears black. She always wears skirts or dresses, and she never wears black. So that's the funny part of it.
It was a very funny reveal.
I very much laughed at that. I'm like that, and you can see like Keith questioning that later in the season when he's dealing with the OG Earth 1 Amelia, who's come over to the alternate universe, and I'm like, okay, I'm down with that. And they do reveal Earth X in with him over there, and if you, for all you DC fans, who might know it or might not, it is. Okay, sorry. One thing. No, you had the worst record this week, there, Emperor. So say whatever you want. You had the worst record of choices this week. You got the least amount of points of any of us. So, or at least as of before. I think as of last night, you're still behind us all. You didn't pick well, but it reveals Earth X, which is the world where the Nazis won, or I can't say that. Sorry.
Where the Germans won World War II.
The Germans won World War II. We talked about this. I'm not supposed to say. We're not promoting anything. I swear. But it's where the Germans won World War II, and we get that world, which I didn't like. I kind of realized it a couple episodes earlier, where you had no people of color in the world.
I'm sad to say I did not notice.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. So, yeah. Okay, we're not monetized, so I know. I'm sorry. No,
it's okay. We're not monetized. We are not promoting anything. We're not just talking about it as a matter of fact.
We're literally
we will
talking
not entertain the conversation about it. So
yeah, we are. I'm not saying that again. But yeah, it's a weird world, and that's kind of why with that world, Peacemaker, Blue Dragon, and Captain Triumph are heroes in that world. And early in the season, Peacemaker saying best world ever until season 7, where it's officially revealed that it's Earth X, and you're like, oh no, this is not good.
That is entirely true, Jamie. You and I do not notice anything. That is entirely true. So there was a lot to unpack in the last few episodes. I don't know, like, should we start some earlier in the beginning? We need to talk about the bird blindness. We need to talk about economists. We need to talk about how good Vigilante is in this.
So let's go to the other characters. So in this week, you have Adrian Chase Vigilante making his return, and absolutely, I love it. I love the fact that he wasn't even the original role in the first season. He had to go and refilm a bunch of stuff. I learned from listening to the podcast. He wasn't even the original actor. A bunch of stuff that's in there with him with the mask on isn't even him. It's the other actor. And then they went and recut everything that he has his face. And then he's like in the last 3 episodes when it's him in the suit. But oh my god, he's just Freddie Stroma, I've loved this dude for a long time. I think he's an amazing actor. Watch him in a bunch of stuff. But, oh my God, he's so good.
I loved him in season 1, and I absolutely was like, like he was so good in season 2. The fact that he just got more and more strange, yet more and more lovable.
Throughout the series, he keeps talking about how he's an expert on things, and he's just an idiot, doesn't know anything about owls, manta rays, spiders, so much different stuff. And like, it's just the way he does it in this season, because he's not. This season was very much out of costume. Was these characters? Funny there, but it was very much a lot of these characters out of costume for most of the season, and I like, again, Vigilante and Peacemaker, but we're in a lot of episodes where they weren't wearing their suits, but I like that. You're exploring these characters. It's the second season. You got a lot of crazy. So and I think where Gunn wanted to go is, let's explore the characters. Let's dive deep. Let's learn about these people, and learning about Adrian Chase was just amazing. And
his relationship with his mother was bizarre at best. The fact that he tells his mother that he was dating hardcore, and which I thought was a very, very funny conversation. And she was just like, I understand that you're a slut, and that's, I was just like, what is happening?
And he broke up with her because she was too much of a slut.
Yes, I was just like, that's a very wonderful conversation. 1, to have with your mother, and 2, to lie about.
Yeah. And then we get the reveal of his room.
Yes, this is where I wanted to go. Yeah.
His room.
Which is full of cocaine and money. And weapons, I do believe, as well. But it's basically everything that he has. Every time he has taken down criminals, he has kept all the drugs and the money, but he refuses to spend the money because it is ill-gotten gains. Which comes, and it'll
put a blood curse on him. That's his rationale, is that it'll put a blood curse on him if he uses any of it.
And I do love, we had a couple of fantastic moments of Vigilante in this season. One, when he became obsessed with whether or not he existed in the alternate universe, which I thought was fantastic. Spoiler alert, he does. And I wanted him to be the opposite, but I was also pleasantly surprised when he was basically identical. And I thought that was fantastic. Except for he hates Peacemaker, and our Vigilante loves Peacemaker.
But that is the perfect, like, they're identical people, but they're alternate universe because it's that one thing that's the opposite. The opposite for Keith is he's alive versus he's dead. For Vigilante, one thing is different. It's the fact that he hates Peacemaker versus he loves Peacemaker. It's just two opposites. Hello, Astrid.
And I do think one of my favorite Vigilante moments of the whole season was after the whole orgy scene.
Oh my God.
And he talks about how much he loves sex, but not because he's a pervert. It was just like, it was so good.
Yeah, again, it's
he's so awkward. It's so good.
Yeah, he says that they have the orgy, and then he's so jealous that he didn't get invited to the orgy when he's coming to help Peacemaker cut up the other Peacemaker's body.
Oh yeah, that was he was mad he didn't get invited to the orgy, not because he wanted to have sex, but because he likes connecting with people, is what he said. Or something along those lines. It was funny. It was good stuff. And you're right. When he came to show up to help Peacemaker dispose of the bodies, and it's like all of this beautiful music, and he's just so calmly taking care of everything, and
he's smiling.
Bodies, and I was just happy. Like, it's so bad.
But this is who Vigilante is. If you really think about the guy who just walked up when Peacemaker couldn't make the shot in season 1, just walked up, pulled the gun, and just started shooting kids.
Exactly.
Him cutting up Peacemaker's alternate universe body is.
Peacemaker
I'm
2?
like,
I don't know what we want to.
Peacemaker X. Call Peacemaker X because technically it's from Earth X. He is this is not the first time he's done this. He has the full kit on how to do this. When Peacemaker calls him, he's got a kit, he's got everything. So this isn't the first time he's done this, and he is a complete psychopath, and I love him. And he gets weirder and weirder as the season goes on, but in completely different ways than you expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So going on to other characters in this season, we already talked Amelia Hargreaves. Let's talk John Economos, because he just had an incredible second season. I think
his second season was better than his first, for sure. He had a lot more time, a lot more story, a lot more character.
100%, because I think he was so much more involved. Like, he had his involvement in season 1. Don't get me wrong. He was a very important character. Did a lot of things, especially with Judo Master and things like that. But this season, it still felt like he was the guy in the chair in season 1. Still kind of, you know what I mean? Like, he was still the guy, their tech guy, still everything. But R.I.P. Rick Flair. Yep. Depending on which one you're talking about. But yeah, I think he's really stepped up. And I love Steve Agee. I think the dude is insanely funny, and he did such a good job here. Just being the awkward weirdo.
Ginger Cool.
Oh my God, Ginger. He gets so angry at anybody making that and just one of the other Argus members, when he's trying to distract the Argus people with jokes.
Let's call it what. So bad. He's so awkward. He's just so awkward.
Oh, dude, it was just like some of the worst things, because I pulled it up. Where is it? I wrote it down somewhere. It was in episode 8 where he's talking about it, and then the tag up at the end where he tells the story about the serial killer and a cop pulling him over and he gets permanent, and then the one girl starts laughing.
I didn't know where that was going. I was like, is she just laughing for the sake of laughing? Like, no, she actually thinks this is funny.
No, that lady is as broken as Vigilante. she laughs at that. She's as broken as Vigilante, or something, or she happens to do certain things on her time off.
And I did love the whole dynamic between Economos and Tim Meadows' character. Incredible stuff. Tim Meadows' character was a highlight as well, at least early in the season.
Langston Fleury. Let's talk about him, since we went into him. Dude, Economos and Fleury. This is where we get bird blindness in episode 2. He gets introduced here, and he says, I got bird blindness because he can't tell what an eagle is. He thinks it's just he can't tell the size of birds. He can't tell what the difference is. He thinks that Economos told him it was a duck.
Yes. I am going to fully admit I looked up to see if bird blindness was actually a thing, because I was like so convinced it was. It was the way it was presented. I'm like, this can't be a real thing. And I'm not convinced it's not a real thing still, but it was very funny.
Again, and I was laughing so hard because this joke spans a couple episodes. It's not like it's just a one-off joke. It plays for the next 2 or 3 episodes. It's let go in the later half, but it literally plays like episode 2, episode 3.
Well, it kind of had to be let go after we lost. Oh my God, what's his name?
Red St. Wild.
Yes.
Oh my God! Let's finish on Fleury. I thought he was just one of the best additions to this cast. I thought he was absolutely perfection. I love Tim Meadows. I've loved that man forever since I discovered SNL. I discovered SNL years after he was on, but I went back and watched found a lot of old stuff, and I loved him. I don't like his movie, The Ladies' Man. It works better as a sketch than it does as a movie. But he's like the best character actor in this. One of the best character actors to ever exist, Tim Meadows, because he comes into anything and just brings it up. He's the best. He's one of the best supporting actors out there. Simple as that. As that.
Excellent in this movie, or in this TV show.
Yeah, but you brought up Red St. Wild. Let's talk about it. Michael Rooker is back as the second character. The second character he has played within this universe. This is the second character he's played in this universe. And he is Red St. Wild, the world's foremost eagle hunter. Economos, who hunts eagles? It's just...
Yeah. I think it's funny because obviously, the American thing with the Eagles and stuff like that as well. But it was just, and when he went after Eagly and Economos saved Eagly, they talked about how he, it was another bird who attacked him and knocked him down, and yeah, there was just so
Prime
much going on with
Eagle.
that character. Yeah,
He calls him the Prime Eagle.
yes, that's what it was.
And then in episode 5, or that was the end of episode 4, he does, or one of the episodes, he's doing like the whole fireside dance to like to get like to see from his inner eye, and then he goes after Eagly, the Prime Eagle, but then Eagly gets his comeuppance. I think it was episode 5 where he takes down Rip, and he gets knocked over, and then a bunch of other eagles show up, and then he looks at Eagly and he just sees this fire come up behind him. He's like, the Prime Eagle, and then all the eagles attack Rip, and
the fact that he was indeed the Prime Eagle.
Red, or they all attack Red and kill him. He was there for a little bit, but he like Rooker does such a good job at even in the Suicide Squad. He was only there for the first like 10 minutes of that movie.
But he makes an impact. He does what he needs to do and he leaves again. Yeah,
and that's what Rooker does best. Like, I think he's so good. I love Rooker. I've loved that dude since I watched. I think the first time I remember seeing him was in Mallrats, as Mr. Svenning. I've loved him ever since. Like, he's so good. Merle in Walking Dead, just everything this man has done, I think, is absolute perfection. So like he showed up, he stole the scenes, and he leaves, and I love it.
Absolutely.
One big character we didn't talk about yet is Adebayo, Ads, or Lee.
Lee.
Lee. Oh my God, him getting mad at his mom for calling her Lee and not Ads or Adebayo was just perfection. But yeah, I think her story, might be the weakest of all of the main characters in the season, in my opinion.
I think her story was really compelling, but it didn't seem to tie into anybody else's story, really. And I think that's what took me out of it a little bit. Yeah,
hers was there, and she played, like, she had her little side story with breaking up with her, or being estranged from her wife and everything. But it was like, okay, that makes you feel. But she was mostly there as support character to everyone else. She was kind of the connecting glue for everybody. Like, she was insanely important while also not being a focus at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, she didn't have, like, in season 1, she was this big focus because she's secretly Waller's kid, and then that's all revealed, and she's the rookie agent, so she keeps screwing up. So there's all these little things. That's how she's reacting with everybody. But here, she's just kind of the glue that's keeping everybody together, almost.
Yeah, she's definitely more of a supporting role than she was in season 1, I think. She had what I would say was the biggest feeling story, but I just didn't think they didn't either fill it in enough or they took too much time with it. I can't tell which one it is. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it kind of just happens early on, and then there's nothing about it, and then episode 8 kicks it
sort of just wrap it up.
It's just like, wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. We can't leave that little string there. But it was just a little string, and it wasn't like there was much there. So it felt like her story was kind of, like, it felt like there was more, and then her story was what got cut out almost.
Yeah.
It feels like was one of the things that got cut out of the season. It's kind of, I'm like, ugh.
She's mostly there for the Earth X moment.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Again, supporting other characters and things like that. Because she ends up on Earth X with everybody, and they don't realize it's white supremacy and things like that there. So they literally one got out, and they start chasing her, because so obviously these people they're keeping people of color locked up and away from people, and she gets away from, I think, the best kill of the season. The best, when she dies in the pool, starts swimming across, and Judo Master is there because he followed Peacemaker in before everybody else went in, and he pulls her out and electrocutes 9 people in a pool,
which is a record for him.
Because before it was 2.
Yeah,
I think he said his record before was 2.
I think that was what I laughed about with that scene, was that he was like, "This is a record for me for people electrocuted in a pool." Like, it was a very specific record, and I was like, "Okay." Like,
because I guarantee you, he has another record for electrifying people on a dance floor. He's got electrifying people in a bus. Electrifying people in, like, he has just all these like separate versions of how he electrocutes people. Oh my god! Like, let's talk. Like, Judah Master's back as one of the side characters, and he gets hired. He's hired by Argus, and you fight Peacemaker. Then he ends up following Peacemaker into Earth X, and that's kind of really the entire story for Judah Master in this season, because he's not really utilized outside of that. Which I'm okay with, because I think that's a character. He comes in, does the little things he needs to do, the fight with Peacemaker, and then the Adebayo save. That makes sense. That's really all you need, because you keep him a heel fighting Peacemaker, and then you turn him face by saving Adebayo.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I was perfectly fine with that. It came perfectly. But Brett in the chat saying, "Is it me or does John Cena's acting in Hollywood come?" In some stuff. Yes, in Peacemaker, no.
See, I disagree. Like, I've watched a few things with John Cena recently, some of his movies on Netflix and stuff, and I think that he's exactly what the character is. And I mean, I don't know if maybe the character is bland, but I guess it depends what you're looking from him. But, I don't think he's out to win any Oscars or anything.
No, again, he's not taking a smash and machine role. He's not going after those. He just wants to take roles that are fun, that seem like fun to him, and he gets to have a good time.
And I think Peacemaker is a perfect example of that. Like, he seems to be enjoying it and having fun.
And he does get to do some acting here. He gets to do a little bit of acting. Like, gets to be serious, gets to be funny, gets to be crazy, gets to be all of these things within this character, which is great, because you can see this how he's evolving as an actor. Because if you had put this 2012 John Cena into this role, it would not have worked. Even though he was acting by that point, he was not ready. But this version of John Cena, which is weird that originally Gunn wanted Batista for this. I don't think Batista could have done. I think if it was Batista in that movie, the character would have been killed off as originally planned for that movie. That was what the original plan for that movie was, for Peacemaker not to survive like everyone else. But I think, and Gunn has said, because how good John Cena was, they went and refilmed a little bit at the end to have Peacemaker still be alive, because he wanted Peacemaker around.
I think Batista probably would have done all right in the role based on like how comedic and stuff he was in Guardians. But
I don't think you get this.
No,
I don't think you get the TV show if it's John Cena, because John Cena does this perfection. But he has this. This is a role he was made for. Yeah. I have to say. But yeah, so you have all that. I got to talk a couple more that we have here. We have Rick Flag Sr. showing up, who debuted in the cartoon Creature Commandos, but he makes his on-screen. He made his on-screen debut in Superman, but he makes it really. You really get his character fleshed out here in Peacemaker. He's dealing with the death of his son. He's now the head of Argus, and he finds out that Peacemaker is the one that killed his son. And it's pretty much Rick Flag using Argus to try to take down Peacemaker throughout the season.
Yeah, that's the overarching, like the main story arc.
Yeah, and again, that's what his story is, because he's trying to get a hold of the folding chamber, because it uses the same signature as Lex Luthor's portals that he was opening in Superman, to travel to the other universe and to travel between places on Earth. We'll get into more of what happens in a little bit. We're just going to get another couple characters, and then we'll talk about kind of how this season arced to the end. So Sasha Bordeaux is one of the other ones that is a new character for this season. She is from the Batman comics originally. She was a love interest for Batman years ago, because she was hired as Bruce Wayne's security. I read about this. I didn't actually read this in the comics. I read about it. She was Bruce Wayne's security, became his love interest, and then was stabbed by a cyborg and became a cyborg, because it infected her body with cyborg parts. So you actually see in this series that she has the cyborg eyes.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. And then she becomes. We'll talk about the group she's part of when we talk about the ending of the season in a bit. But yeah, I think that's kind of it for the main characters. Then you did have Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord. You had Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. You had Nathan Fillion coming back as Guy Gardner in here. And then you in this fun little scene in the first episode where Peacemaker's trying to join the Justice Gang, but they just keep insulting him, but he can hear them. And then they realize what was the girl that was in there before? I mean, they were talking about her camel toe the entire time. It was just these three people being just generally shitty people.
Yeah.
Except for Hawkgirl, she's kind of like the least shitty of the three, but she's still kind of shitty to them. She's still kind of shitty at the same time, you know. She's the least shitty, but she's kind of shitty.
Yeah, we didn't really get much of them in this. It's really just a nod at the beginning to tell you that it was that there's definitely the same universe and there is definitely a crossover.
Yeah, and then we did get Otis Berg, which is played by Terrence Rosemore and Lex Luthor. They show back. Lex Luthor gets this little part in episode 7 where he's talking with Rick Flag. I think it was 6 or 7. Was talking with Rick Flag.
Lex Luthor may have the absolute best quote of this entire season, but when he's talking about his inmate roommates.
Oh, the anime eyes with the anime eyes.
When he says his cellmates, I'm going to paraphrase this, for reasons. It says something about he has to listen to a bear-sized man with dragon skin, butt effing a glowing twink with cartoon eyes in his cell beside me every night. Yeah, maybe the best quote of the entire season because it was... Yeah, that was exceptional and unexpected.
I've got a couple of quotes because there's one spot in episode 3 with Keith. He goes, "I am now and I will always be your brother," which is a paraphrase of the Star Trek quote of I am now will always be your friend.
Yes.
Which Spock says to Kirk. I was like, oh my god, Star Trek reference in this. Like, and Gunn's a huge geek, so I'm not surprised he went with there. Like, it just so much good stuff in this. How they did it all, I absolutely love it so much. But yeah, and that's pretty much it for characters. Otherwise, there's a lot of other small, like you have Flurry's crew. It was like Pony Boy, Titties, and I can't remember the other two nicknames, but I can remember those two.
Yeah, they were sort of, I don't want to say throwaways, but throwaways.
Yeah, they were there to be just like they were there throughout. They were there throughout. There, like a couple of them were there throughout. That a couple of them get killed and things like that. But again, they're there for just to be his lackeys. Is kind of what it is. Right?
Exactly. So, exactly.
Yeah, and then we did get Joel Kinnaman back as Rick Flag Jr. when they are on Earth. He is alive over on Earth X. So
yes.
Ed, the third member of this trio, could not make it because he didn't watch the series. I don't know why. It's a great series.
He will, I'm sure, get around to watching it eventually. Yeah, he
will eventually. I know we were trying to figure out a way for him to watch it because he doesn't have HBO Max, and he just decided, I'm going to back out of this, and we were like, that's fine. But yeah, overarching the season again. This season was about the main story for this season is then finding Earth X.
Yes, and
trying to have a relationship with his father, while trying to simultaneously keep his relationships going on Earth 1. So again, it's comedy there, and then kind of build. I think the first 3 episode about is kind of seeing how he plays and how everybody's playing off of him, and then you get eventually Peacemaker. The Argus is trying to capture him to get the technology to have the door, and he kind of keeps getting away because his friends just keep saving him because they're that good at their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and eventually he just goes over to Earth X and starts living there because he just doesn't want to deal with his shitty life on Earth 1.
I do like how we've got this portable portal, which is a weird thing to say, but Addie use it once, and then all of a sudden knows how to use it. And I thought that was very weird because it seemed very complicated. But what do I know? Maybe she's super smart, and I don't realize.
Yes, I think that was something they established in season 1 that this woman, being kind of nuts in how she acts. She is very smart, and again, she's Vander Wilder's daughter, so I'd expect this character to be smart. Because again, she literally watched Peacemaker set it all up, so she would have seen the position he put the portal in to create the new portal in the broken down house. So she might remember where the positioning was, right? And she's like, right. And she does say when she's setting it up at the house, I hope I have this right.
Yeah, that is true. Right? That is true. So, I was just like, okay, that's a lot of things to remember for, someone who's only seen it once. But maybe she has a photographic memory and I'm just overthinking things.
And Peacemaker also said this is the first time he had done it since he was a kid and he remembered. So
that's true.
He is definitely not that smart.
That is true. That is true.
So I really feel like this season picks up when, it's Argus taking down Peacemaker, but then he gets released, and then he just decides, screw it, I'm going to the other universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where this season really got kicked in the gear, was when Argus started really screwing with Peacemaker and everything. Because again, Rick Flag, I really did enjoy how dead set he was on getting this portal and taking down Peacemaker.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, when he decides to go basically permanently to Earth X, and he thinks how wonderful it is, and you see the big, and I think anybody in that position would probably think the same thing. Your brother's alive, you have your father, you have the love of your life, everything seems good, and people love you, you're a hero.
Because like when he's first over there and he's driving the peace cycle, and then the kid is like, "I love you, Peacemaker," and he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Because the kid goes, "I love you, Peacemaker." He's like, "I love you too, bud." And then he starts crying, "I love you, Peacemaker," and he's just like, "What the fuck?" And then he turns, and then the girl in the car flashes them, and he's just like, "Best universe ever."
Yes.
It's like, no, worst universe ever, bud. This is the worst universe. Like, this is the worst of all timelines. Like, but I love that he's so unaware. I didn't realize it until you see him like if you keep watching it, it's like, okay, yeah, there's nobody there, and like I was kind of feeling it because I'm like, I felt it because his dad was a hero, right? His dad was like this worshipped hero in this universe, and that's where I really felt. I'm like, I think this is Earth X.
And as someone who's not super familiar with Earth X, I just went into it and I was like, it's too good to be true. Something's wrong. And, to be like, how they always say, if something feels too good to be true, it probably is. You know what I mean?
100%. So yeah, like he permanently goes over, so his friends come through to rescue him. And that's, I think, the biggest point, one of the biggest, where the story really is, the ramp ups and everything after the Argus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they come over and they kind of make the rescue, but they don't at the same time, because they all kind of get caught in different things. Like Adebayo and Judah Master have to get away from everybody. And then, dude, Economos, when he first gets caught by Augie, oh my God. Oh, like as soon as he's hit, he explains exactly what he is.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, he's got no chill. Absolutely zero poker face. Yeah.
I even mentioned it to him. I was like, "Man, you suck at Black Ops" earlier in the season. And they're like, "Who said I was good at this?"
Yeah.
Like, I never said I was good at this. And it's like, it's true. He has constantly said this is not what he does. He's constantly saying he wants to be the guy in the chair doing that. He says he is not. Like, he keeps saying he's not that. He's been saying it for the 2 seasons, and it makes it's like, yeah, he's not this. He's not this guy. But again, yeah, they do the rescue again, and then they get all kind of get captured and end up back at Peacemaker's family's house, and then Blue Dragon dies again. Augie Smith dies again, as it's almost fated to, and he gets killed by his friends. Was it Vigilante killed him? He came through the window.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was alternate universe because Vigilante meets himself. And it's crazy, and then they save everybody at the house because alternate universe Vigilante kills him, and then Peacemaker's pissed because his dad is not the same as he was over there. He was a guy who didn't sympathize with what they were going after, but he's just taking advantage of the universe in here. You know what I mean? Like, he's not one of them, but he's taking advantage. It's kind of shitty. It's pretty shitty, but
I think the reveal that he was different than he was in the original world was a nice little twist that I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, me too. Again, I like that, but then bam, as soon as that reveal happens, boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, and it breaks, and then they all start fighting Keith, and he literally has to tell them to stop killing his brother because it's going to. It's already, you can see as it's scarring him as his best friends in the world are trying to kill his brother. You can see how that's just scarring this man, the man who already killed his brother in his own universe. This is breaking him, and then they all escape, and then she goes to kill him, but she can't. She doesn't, or she goes to, but she gets stopped by the cops and everything. And I'm like, he's got to be coming back in episode 8. He's coming back in some way. But they go back and they end up back in the main universe. But it's like that's kind of the wrap up of the first arc of the season, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because that was into where? That was into
That
that was into 7?
That was episode 7 was
Mhm.
where they kind of go back. And then I feel like a couple episodes worth of stuff happens in episode 8.
Mhm.
So yeah. So we get back and this is where how do you feel about the overarching story of Earth X?
I feel like it took a lot of time to get there, and then they like sped through it because they really didn't want to spend a lot of time on it for reasons.
Yeah, we had one episode there, really.
Yeah.
Really one full episode of that world where
Yeah.
we got little bits of that world before. We
Yeah.
got one full episode. And I think, again, I don't think more of that would have done anything.
No,
Helped.
no. I think it gave you the whole like, hey, this world is garbage because of XYZ, and here's all the clues that everybody missed. And to be fair, most of the clues they didn't actually show us. They only showed in hindsight to show that Peacemaker missed the obvious things that were not great about the universe because he was so focused on the things that were so great about the universe.
Yeah. So you get there, and then so that's kind of the first half was dealing with his family, dealing with his trauma, things like that. So you come back, it's episode 8. He gets arrested by Argus when they come back because they're outside the portal, and they get possession of his technology. They get possession of the folding door, whatever.
I love how it transpired though. They all come through, they hand it over, and Peacemaker says, they convinced me to come back. They convinced me to turn it over to you. They're innocent, basically.
Well, he's doing that because he wants to protect his friends.
Absolutely. Yeah.
While he's broken, he wants to protect. Well,
Mhm.
he's broken and he's pissed at these people,
Mhm.
which you can tell in episode 8. He still doesn't want them to be in trouble.
Mhm. Yeah, he won't let any of them visit him.
Yeah, like he doesn't want them to go to jail, right? He doesn't
Yeah.
want them arrested for what they had to do to bring him back.
Mhm.
Because they kind of all did the right thing in the end, bringing him back. Like Harcourt did the right thing. She still did her job in the end. She got them the device. She got Peacemaker back.
Mhm.
So she kind of did everything they wanted her to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And Economos was just an unwilling participant in everything because he's just getting dragged along into everything.
He's fantastic.
But yeah, so we get to episode 8, and it comes out. It starts with we get the flashbacks to a month before, and it kind of this is where it reveals the boat, and they talk about it shows the relationship kind of fracturing there,
Mhm.
and the kiss and everything, where they're at the Nelson concert, which the song was really good. I've never heard it before, but it was such a good song. This whole season, the music was just fire.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so they go in, and then it kind of starts doing this when they come in, kind of come back, and like Peacemaker is dealing with his own shit. He doesn't want to. He's in jail. Doesn't want to see anybody. So then they start showing Harcourt and Argus and Sasha Bordeaux and Fleury and Rick Flag and all them as they're exploring the doors.
Mhm.
And
this was actually a really fun part of the episode that we actually got to see some of the other worlds, because I really wanted to see if they were all the same world but different places, and then we realized that absolutely not. These are actually doors to other universes, basically. Yeah,
other completely different dimensions. Because like
Mhm.
they open the one door, and it's a freaking like just a black hole sucking them in. They have to pull themselves out,
Mhm.
which was actually really cool. I like that. That was a really cool one. They open the door. It's all zombies.
Mhm.
It's a zombie world, and like they like a couple other people get killed because of the zombie world.
We're losing some of their people in almost every one of these doors that they open. There's sort of like this montage.
The black hole they didn't lose because they kept that person. They towed that person back in the black hole one, but that's like the point. They go into this one where it's all like red, or it's like very like a red hued world, and then they get attacked by all these like minutes. Like these, I think it's the gremlins that they were talking about in when early on in the season. When Peacemaker, his dad and his brother are sitting around drinking, and he's talking about these little gremlins that he found him playing with inside of the. I think it's them.
Is possibility, yeah. I never really put those two things together, but that is possible. Yeah.
I literally just realized it right now.
And I love that they were like so cute but so evil, and there was just so many of them, and they overwhelmed. But yeah, almost every door that they opened, they did lose parts of their team, and I thought it was quite the montage. Then they went into the Candyland, basically.
Okay.
which was great.
But throughout the montage, as they keep going through all these doors, there is literally a song called playing says, "Gotta stop effing my heart in the ass."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm
it
like,
was great.
I'm like, this is an actual song. I love this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I laughed so hard when I heard that song. And again, I was just and like how Gunn frames everything with music is absolute perfection. I think just
he knows what he's doing.
Oh, he's so like you saw him do it with Guardians, and he did it again in Guardians 2 and 3. Did it with the Suicide Squad. Did it with Peacemaker season 1. He did the game with Peacemaker season 2. I think the dude is like an artist when it comes to music, right? So, and then we have again, and then so they eventually decide to get Peacemaker. Like Adebayo convinces Vigilante to use the drugs, use the money to get Peacemaker out of jail.
Yeah.
Use it and I'm understanding like I would take I guess I'm more of his best friend because I would take a blood curse to get him out of jail.
Yes.
And like that's how she like convinces him to like that she's more of his best friend than he is. He's like, no, and to get him out of jail. And then this is kind of where you see I really feel like Sacha Bordeaux in those last couple episodes really got more of a presence in those episodes 5 and 6, and you kind of don't see her much in 7. You get little bits of her in 7. But you kind of see her character really kind of come to form in this episode because you can see her bonding with Harcourt as they're finding different worlds and how they're like working together.
Also, they're bonding over the fact that Rick is a douchebag. Let's call it what it is.
Like they both hate him. Like they even though she is his girlfriend, I guess I know because they were in bed together one night.
Yeah.
So I was in bed with him one night. But yeah. And you can see Flurry's in there too. He's kind of starting to become friends with these people. Yeah, and you kind of because he's literally losing members of his team through the portals, through the doors. So he's kind of becoming friends. You can see him kind of becoming friends. And like Judo Master's in there with them, searching these universes too. So like you have this kind of bond that's being created between these people, right?
Yeah, multiple teams. Going through. Yeah. And
so like Peacemaker got out of jail. He disappears for a while because he doesn't want to see anybody, right? And then this is where like Harcourt and Sacha Baron, they kind of get together and they start talking about stuff because they find this world. They find the perfect world because nobody knows what's happening, right? Nobody knows why they're looking for a world with breathable air, sustainable water and food and things like that. Nobody understands why because they're all kind of thinking it's for resources or to help expand the world, like said, for people to live there because their world's becoming uninhabitable because there's too many people, things like that.
Yes.
But then they find it. I can't remember what they called it.
Sanctuary.
Because and that means something in comics, which I learned about by reading about this because I'm not the biggest DC fan. I like DC, I haven't read a lot of it. So they find what they call sanctuary, and Rick Flag gets in a meeting with the government agents you saw, or the government when you saw the same crew you saw in Superman.
Yes.
That were meeting with Lex Luthor and everything. It's all the same actors. There might be a couple of the actors from that movie were in this scene. Might be a couple different actors in there for the other people sitting in chairs that we didn't recognize, but a couple of them you saw in the movie. So they're there. And he starts talking about the sanctuary, and he wants to make it a prison world, which I'm like, oh, that's okay, that's cool. So I started looking it up, right? Because I'm like, I have to figure out what the heck this means. And yes, no, sorry, not sanctuary, salvation.
Is it salvation?
Salvation. I was
okay.
Wrong. I was with you.
Sanctuary was the hospital, right? The salvation is this world. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, because so he talks about being a prison world. So I went and looked this up. So Salvation comes from a comic series back in 2007 to 2008 called Salvation Run.
Never corrected me or corrected us.
Yeah, I just went and looked on the Wikipedia and it said Salvation, so I clicked.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking of Sanctuary and I'm like, no, that's a hospital in the DC universe. But
yeah. So and it was kind of a lead up to Final Crisis, I guess. And it's what it is essentially. A bunch of villains get put onto a prison world. This isn't an alternate universe. I don't think it's an alternate universe. And where they're given, they just get sent there to kind of be prison people there. Not only taking the plan, not the summer storyline. I agree to a point. I think he's going to take one bit from this because this is where Desaad comes from. One of Darkseid's minions, Desaad. This is his planet. Salvation is his world. He's one of the disciples that Darkseid has. So I really feel that we are going to get Desaad out of this because it's his. Again, it's Desaad's planet is where they put where the Salvation run happens.
Yeah, because there was an interview where he said that Salvation will be playing a major role going forward. So I assume we'll see it in the next Superman film.
Yeah, because again, I think he said that he was hinting us before the episode came out that things that happen in this episode will affect Superman. It will affect things that would go forward in Superman and beyond. So I feel like yes, it's not going to be the comic storyline, but I still think we get Desaad and we get we're going to get Salvation. We get Desaad from it. Like that's how we're getting Desaad into our world, and eventually getting Darkseid into the world too. So yeah. So yeah, they create a prison friend, and that's where you see her kind of turning on Flag. You know what I mean? Like this is where she kind of says, Bordeaux says, this is where like when he's talking about this prison planet, he's just sending people there, and he's like, I don't care what happens to them after they go there.
Yeah,
I think that's really where she kind of like flipped the switch on him. She's already pissed at him, but she starts getting mad at him, but she's just like, I'm done. And that's where she meets with Harcourt. They start talking about everything. And then she brings her to meet Adebayo, who has plans and wants to start her own agency, right? And so they kind of just like they find Peacemaker, they get Vigilante, and they all make the decision to start their own group. It's kind of how it is where this goes, right? And they use all the drug money and all the drugs and sell all of it to buy a building, create this whole company. It's Vigilante, it's Adebayo, it's Peacemaker, it's Harcourt, it's Economos, Bordeaux, it's Flurry, and Judo Master. Or,
yeah, the whole gang.
I was pleasantly surprised that I didn't expect Judo Master and I didn't expect Flurry. Because again, they weren't part of it all, so I didn't expect it, and they show up, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Because Flurry, you can see him he's losing his team, he's getting frustrated. I'm like, perfect, makes sense. Judo Master just kind of like, he got hired by Argus. He doesn't care.
Tags along.
He's just like, screw it. I'm going to go with you guys. This will be more fun than working for Argus, right? And it's revealed that it's Checkmate.
Yes. Which
is a clandestine group in the DC universe. Which
has to do with Waller as well, does it not?
Yes. I'm pretty sure she was the head of Checkmate for a while. So it makes sense that, well, it's not Amanda Waller. It's her daughter helping create it, and then Sacha Bordeaux is a member of Checkmate in the comics. And yeah, again, I'm just like, yeah, I when they walk out, I'm like, who's this gonna be? And then it says Checkmate. I'm like, oh my god, that's awesome! Like I know who these people are, because like I was like, yes, that's great. Let's go. I was ready for that. I was like, let's go. And then it kind of how it ends, because it's a month later, because they get to a month later when it's all set up and they all walk out of the building doing that triumphant walk, and then we get a shot of Peacemaker and Harcourt seemingly in a relationship. I want to say, because they're like cuddling at they're at another rock cruise, but this time it's the band that does the theme song.
Yes.
Who did that thing?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I looked because I looked them up. I'm like, is this a real band? And sure enough, it is. But yeah.
I literally just was listening to this on a podcast today. They were talking because like somebody on the podcast wanted to play it on the podcast, and they did. Dang it. Theme song. Oh Lord by Foxy Shazam. Foxy Shazam. And I'll admit, when they first announced that they were changing the theme song for Peacemaker, I was like, oh, because I really liked Wigwam and Do You Want to Taste It? I thought that was a great song. I mean, like, I watched the first episode, I watched the intro, and I'm like, okay, that's good. It's catchy, but man, I really wish it was Do You Want to Taste It by Wigwam. I
don't think the dance and the song were as catchy as the first one. I don't think you'll see it catch on quite as much as did the first season.
I don't think it like if you watch the first season choreography to that music, it's almost all in flow. It feels like the music is slightly off to me.
Well, and this season, every opening was different.
Were they? They all
Yeah, slightly different. James Gunn even said that each opening is slightly different, where they do a little bit of a focus on a character that is more prominent in an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I enjoyed it again, but I think the song really grew on me throughout the episodes, and I really liked the song. I don't know if I still don't know if I like it more than Do You Want to Taste It, but I really I've been listening to this. I've been hearing the song on different things I'm listening to because people keep playing it on stuff, and it keeps popping up. When I'm just doing my randoms playlist on Spotify because it's getting a lot of plays. So just being on most popular song playlists, it's there. It's getting played. It keeps popping up on most popular song playlist now, so it's getting some play out there, right? It's not Taylor Swift level of play, but it's getting play. But yeah, and so they kind of have this. You see this moment, it's like, okay, so they're together now because they're cuddling at the concert as they're rocking out to Foxy Shazam. Because I was really confused when they went back to it, and it says featuring Foxy. I'm like, didn't it feature Nelson? And then I realized, oh, this is a month later. Okay,
yeah,
this is the difference. I was like, I'm an idiot because you see, it kind of put the point that Peacemaker and Hardcore are together now, pretty much, right? That's kind of the feeling I got.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So Peacemaker, after the concert, goes back to his house. I think it's after the concert, goes back to his motel room. He's still living in a motel because his place was destroyed by Eagly in the big battle or whatever. And he gets kidnapped.
Yes.
Yeah. I was ready for it to be over with the concert, and then it shows him walking back. I'm like, what's gonna happen? Because as soon as I saw him walking to his door, I'm like, something's gonna happen. And he gets kidnapped. He gets let out at this Argus facility. I'm gonna say Argus facility, and Rick Flag Sr. is there, and he's like, Flag, and then they're bringing him towards the door, and he realizes, oh shit, this is not good because he's the door, and they push him through to salvation.
The contract was interesting, showing that it had his signature and stuff on it, that he agreed to be the first test prisoner for.
Oh, they forged everything for him.
Absolutely.
Right?
But I thought it was a funny storyline because they were like, yeah, here's your signature. It's all here. It's all intact.
Yeah. Although I'll give it to Argus, they're very good at what they do. So maybe Peacemaker was signing something with the new company when he was signing his signature on something for the new company, and an Argus agent slipped a piece of paper in there that he signed.
Also possible.
Pulled it out. So he may have signed it. I was thinking about that, and he might have actually signed it because they're a clandestine spy organization. If they're trying to go through, even though they're using drug money and criminal money to buy this building and all this stuff, they still have to buy the building. They still have to do all that, right? So he may have signed something at some point. You never know. So they may have got his signature legally for all we know. They could have used, or legally. They might have actually signed it, but they clandestinely got it. It's very possible. I was thinking about that after. I'm like, that's very possible. He still might have gotten his signature. So, but I really do feel like they forged the documents. But again, there's always that little thing you can be like, yeah, they slipped a piece of paper in there. They had a person slip a piece of paper in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anything's possible.
So, and then Flag says, this is for Ricky. He essentially says, this is for Ricky. Because it's kind of his ultimate revenge on Peacemaker. And they close the door, and he's stuck on salvation. And I'm like, oh no.
And then you hear the wild animals.
Oh.
That sound.
And then, so that's Peacemaker season 2. So then Gunn says there's no plans for season 3.
Yeah.
But he did clarify that Peacemaker he's planning to put Peacemaker on the level of Superman. He's putting it up there with Superman and Batman and all those characters. He wants Peacemaker to be a central character in his universe. And him being on Salvation, and it possibly tying into, and most likely tying into Superman in 2027, I think we'll put we're going to see Peacemaker, obviously, with some time elapsed, him living on the planet. And I feel like you're going to get Checkmate in Superman.
Yeah,
I can see they're going to be part of looking for Peacemaker. I think it's going to be part of a small part of the Superman movies. He's going to interact with Checkmate, and them searching for Peacemaker.
I have to say the whole salvation thing was a little unexpected to me because I assumed Rick Flag wanted the access to the portals to try to find an alternate universe where his son was alive.
Yeah, I was feeling the same way. I was kind of thinking like maybe he's just trying to find another version of his son.
Yeah. So when that didn't happen, I was like, "Oh, this is different."
Well, again, Prairie Pro Wrestling in the chat. Thank you for joining us here, Prairie Pro Wrestling. We appreciate you joining us here in the chat. Bobby Munson's home promotion, where he works, where he gets super kicked by people while sitting in chairs.
Yeah, so with no plans for season 3, I'll be interested to see. We obviously won't get a fully fleshed out storyline necessarily for Peacemaker, at least in the short term, but I think we're guaranteed to see him going forward with the Superman content based on what James Gunn has been saying.
Yeah, but I also think we're probably getting, because he specifically said there's no plans for Peacemaker season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's saying that because, yes, we're not going to get a Peacemaker season 3. I feel like we're getting a new series called Checkmate. I feel like he's going to announce in the next year or two, he's going to announce a new series called Checkmate, and that'll essentially be the other characters. We probably will get some Peacemaker in there, but it's going to be the rest of Checkmate with some I feel like some Peacemaker is part of it as kind of the legacy sequel to Peacemaker. I feel like we're going to get a Checkmate series.
And I mean, no plans for a season 3 doesn't mean there won't be a season 3 either. So,
yeah. Again, and yes, we could. He said there's no plans for Peacemaker season. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I just feel like he's saying, because Gunn doesn't say things most of the time without a reason that he says things. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's saying that and I feel like it's kind of like might be a hint that we're maybe a Checkmate show, because now that you have the style, you're not 11th Street Kids, and it's I feel like you could build a show around these other four and Bordeaux and Judo Master and Flurry. I think you could build a great show that way. With the 7 of them, with Peacemaker showing up and I think John Cena would show up and film stuff. I just don't think he'd be the central focus of the show like he is now. I think he becomes another character as part of the show, so he can kind of continue things from the movies, what he does, maybe his return from Salvation, and he's interacting with the people from Checkmate after the movie. I think you could see that happening, and I do think that Peacemaker will be a larger part of Superman when they eventually end up on Salvation. I think they're going to end up going to Salvation in the movie, and that's where you're going to get Peacemaker as part of that movie, and from kind of moving on from there.
Yeah, I could see that 100%. Yeah.
So overall, I'm going to say I really enjoyed this season. Like, again, the first half was slow, but then it really picks up at like the back half, episode 4, really in the rest of the season. So overall, I think overall season 1 as an overall, I enjoyed more, but I love the back half of season 2 more than I enjoyed the overall season 1.
Yep, I would 100% agree with that one. I do think that this season was a lot more action, at least in the latter half of it, anyway. So,
and again, it was less about the heroes and Peacemaker being Peacemaker than was more about Chris. Like, the show could have been called Chris, and it would have been accurate. You know what I mean? It would have been accurate if it would have been called Chris, because it was more about Chris than it was Peacemaker. It was about the guy underneath, and a lot about the characters under their masks, the characters that they're hiding behind. Like Adebayo, Vigilante, Harcourt, especially Economos, kind of having to come to terms with a lot of shit in this season and kind of going outside of his comfort zone. So it was about these people facing their own bullshit, like Harcourt. We didn't even talk about her constantly getting into fights early in the season because she just wants to feel something, because she can't be a super spy anymore, right? So it's
when they diagnose her as having toxic masculinity, I just about fell out of my chair. So I was like, that sounds about right.
And she's like, what are you talking about? And it was perfection.
But it made sense. Yeah.
There's so many good little jokes throughout this season that just play so well in this season. I love them so much. I I really did enjoy this season. Like episode 6, they're talking about the Beatles, or 6 or 7, they're talking about the Beatles, and it's not
Halloween.
John Lennon. No, but it's not John Lennon. Mick Jagger's in the Beatles instead of John Lennon. Yeah. And then like Halloween's one of the best bands of all time, one of the biggest bands of all time. It's like, what? And then there's like episode 7. Augie saves them and says, "Come with me if you got." He says, "If you two want to live, come with us now." So it's a reference to Terminator, which he was in Terminator 2. It's a T-1000. So it's just like there's all these little callbacks to things, and like when Cena's fighting a judo master, he's doing wrestling moves and stuff. Like as they're fighting, it literally looks like a lucha fighting looks like a little lucha guy fighting a big burly wrestler. Like it's. I love the callbacks to other things and what people have done before, while also being really funny in its own right. Like, I love it. Yeah. I thought I really enjoyed this. I love it. I can't wait to see what, and I really think Gunn is doing a great job with limiting what DC is putting out. Because you saw the overwhelming amount that Marvel did over these last few years. And it was almost it's a detriment. It was a detriment almost to Marvel with the amount that was coming out with TV shows. The movies not as much, but the TV shows that people for some stuff was required to watch. He's like, if you go to see Supergirl next year and see Superman in 2027, if you never watch Peacemaker, I guarantee you he's going to give you enough of that movie that you won't have to have seen this show.
Yeah.
But if you have, you're going to get that little bit more going into that. You know what I mean? You're going to, like, if you hadn't watched Superman, like you watched Peacemaker season 1 and didn't see Superman, again, not a crazy, you're not missing.
Not a must. You still know who Lex Luthor is. I mean,
it gives you enough in this kind of like, if you have seen Superman, certain things in this season, you're like, oh, call back, but then you would just think, oh, that's cool, right? So again, I think he's doing it so well because he looked at the mistakes Marvel made and went, I'm not going to do that. We're going to do it. We're going to slow roll this. We're going to do it little by little, and I think that's the best thing they can do, and they're doing it well. And I'm more looking forward to what DC's got. I know I'm equally looking forward to both companies, what they're doing. I want both companies to give me more and more. But yeah. But with that said, we don't have any more Marvel content this year.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, nothing else from Marvel coming in for new content anyway until January, because Wonder Man got moved, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to start airing in December, but they moved it to January, so it's now 2026. So, to that point, there may be one more Marvel talk this year. Myself, Peggy, and Ed have been talking about. We've told you about it.
Oh yes, okay. Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute, what?
I'm not announcing it. I'm not announcing what it's gonna be, but we may have another show in the next month or so, probably in November. Probably won't be anything this month, but it'll probably be in November sometime. There may be another episode where we're going to be asking you guys questions to give us content for the show, and former content people who have been on our shows, and we do have some Marvel rebounds, some MCU rebounds coming out with.
So more Marvel content, just not necessarily for new.
Nothing new coming, but we have one show specifically in mind, and we do have the rebound's going to come back. So there's going to be some stuff coming up, and a special show. So that will be coming in the next month or two. But yeah, so there will be more coming out for this. But with that said, I'm just looking for the banners. I just don't know whose yours is under. I found it.
I will just start yapping, and while you find the banner, it's fine. So you can find me at _Ophelia_Payne at all social medias, pretty much. Most of my content now is on the Hive _media on all socials. There you go. You found it. So mostly over there, I do reviews of video games, demos, gaming events, things like that. Do some live co-streaming of gaming events over on their Twitch as well. Most recently, I reviewed Mean Girls for the very, very first time. I had never seen it before in my life, so I did a live sort of blog as I watched it for the first time. But this weekend on Saturday, you can find me over on Stuart Yez's Twitch channel. We are doing a Wrestle Dream watch along on his channel to kick off my birthday week. And we are doing that in conjunction to raise money for the charity that he is supporting, Sebastian's Action Trust, which is a UK-based charity that helps families of children with life-threatening conditions. So helps them with do outings and have care if they need it and things like that. So he is doing a 15-kilometer inflatable obstacle course next Saturday on the 25th. And so this weekend we are going to try to top off his charity event and see what happens there. So we're starting a little early. We're going to do some Sporkle quizzes. We're going to yap. We're going to watch Wrestle Dream, and hope to see you all then. And then on Wednesday this week, so before Saturday, Wednesday this week, you'll find me over on the Hive doing my weekly Dynamite watch along with Jamie from Perio Magazine, friend of the channel. And yeah, that would be awesome.
Before I go into my stuff, we have to put this up.
Neither Mean Girls, Brett.
So you've never seen Mean Girls before, just recently?
Yeah, Mean Girls. This is the very first time I've seen Mean Girls.
You guys, people just reacted like people. It's crazy.
So you go over. You can find it on my socials or find it over in the Substack for the Hive_Media, where I watched it for the first time. I had never seen the movie. It's such an ingrained part of pop culture that I knew a lot of the references, and I had seen the Broadway show, so I wasn't entirely oblivious to the comings and goings of the channel.
So you saw the Broadway show that came out over a decade later before you saw the actual movie?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But,
and I had to do it because October 3rd was Mean Girls Day, so I figured it was a good time to watch it and create some content for it. So
I didn't need to worry about it because I saw it back when it came out. So, yeah. But yeah, you can find me on the X and Blue Sky at That Canada Guy, Instagram and Threads at That Canada Dude. I'll be back right here on our local establishment this Thursday, as I will be competing in trivia over for the boys as they talk. They do a Prairie Pro Wrestling trivia. I know some of the wrestlers that I'm aware of a bunch of the wrestlers that work there, but I don't know the history. So let's see how good I can do on this one. I usually do pretty good. I've won a couple, but I don't know if I could beat Papa Smokes on this one because this is his promotion. This is where he works. This is where he calls home in indie wrestling. So I gotta try and take down the king because you might know every right answer here. So check that out this Thursday as I join the boys there. And then I'll be back this Sunday talking more sports, talking all the great stuff that is happening in the world of the NFL. We'll talk some Major League Baseball because the NLCS and the ALCS are happening right this week. Jays are down 2-0 in the best of 7. Come on, Jays, let's rally back. Let's go. Let's rep Canada here. But and then so lots of sports talk. It'll be SMF1 talk. We'll be doing our NFL predictions over there, talking more about me continuing to. I won again. Came back from 140 to 80 deficit after Sunday night with 3 players. Came back and scored another 80 points with 3 players. It feels good. It feels good to still be on the winning side. But we'll be talking more about that on Sunday on Point of View, where we talk all the sports we love in the world. Oh, and one more thing. This Friday, if you are in the Edmonton area, come out to Real Canadian Wrestling at the Norwood Legion, and you'll see yours truly as I'll be ring announcing that show. So if you're in the Edmonton area, come see me ring announce at RCW, and featuring GCW's bad boy, Joey Janela. So come on, check that show out, because I'll be there. If you're in the Edmonton area, you want tickets, get a hold of me on my socials, and I'll get you hooked up with tickets. So you have to pay for them, but we'll get you hooked up. Oh man, so many chats. Peggy, Mike the ref jumped in here right at the end. I thought that was every Sunday morning. No, we're not mean. What are you talking about?
See, I didn't have to see Mean Girls. I put up with you guys every.
I love that I'm getting defended by Brett here. He's like, it's Ed and Bobby that are the Mean Girls.
You don't even go here. Stop trying to make fetch happen.
I'm not one of the mean girls. Woots. Get a hold of me, STG. There will be shows. I will make sure that we get to meet in person and watch some wrestling. You'll meet my boy AWS and maybe the rest of the horde, and we'll hang out and we'll watch some wrestling together. So yeah,
nice.
if you are in Edmonton, yeah.
Good times.
And yeah, no, you're not. You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else before we get out of here?
No. I got nothing.
All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us here. We will talk to you later. Marvel Talk will be back in the next month or so. We'll have some MCU rebounds. We'll have we'll have a special edition, special Marvel overall show. It's all coming soon. So check out all the other shows out right here on Elite. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below on the YouTube channel. So we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear how you're feeling about all the show. I don't know. She'll be back next week. It's her birthday week. She might be very, very busy.
Who knows? Who knows what I'll do?
All right. See you later, everybody. See you later.